Hello everyone and welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. So glad that you could join me today. Today I just want to share with you a card I've made using the Traveller stamp set. In this case I've used the train, but I basically want to show you how we get this fold back and how we've slid the train underneath. But instead of me doing exactly the same card, I'm going to be using, from the Traveller, I'm going to be using the ship this time. So we'll get started. The happy birthday comes from the Guy Greetings stamp set. So they're two stamp sets that I use all the time for my mail cards. So to start with, as normal, you need your card base. Now with the train I used Whisper White, but this time I thought I'd go a bit different and use Calypso Coral. So it's 11 inches long by 4 1/4 wide and scored at 5 1/2. And then we're just going to burnish that. Now the inside piece of your card, which I've gone ahead and done before coming on camera, measures 5 1/4 inches, yeah, that's correct, 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches, and then I just stamped the ship before adhering it to my card. Okay, so that's the inside already done. So then you will need a piece of Designer Series paper, which I have a piece from the By the Shore, one of the new Designer Series paper packs out that was released in June 2016. So with that, you just have to decide, like with the train, I had to decide which one I wanted as the main focus and which one was going to be the show when we fold it back. I just felt this was too busy to have it over here, so that's why I've gone with that one. And that is the Designer Series paper on the train, is the Moroccan one. So then what you do, you need to get a ruler, and well, you don't even have to get a ruler actually. You can just get your trimmer, your Stampin' Up trimmer, and just line it up on the 5 1/4 inch side. And we want to make that cut at 2 5/8. So you just count along. Every 2 notches is 1/8, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so it's like 2 notches past the 2 1/2. So then I just line that up there, and then I just cut up to about 2 inches. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Now a trick what I'll show you, I find it best when I'm doing the fold back is to use a metal ruler, and where the cut finishes up here, I'm just going to have my metal ruler there, and I'm going to bring it round so it's at the point at the bottom here. Then I'm just going to bring it up with my hand and just gently fold it over. I find if you score it, it possibly can tear the fibres on your Designer Series paper. And I just realised that I wanted it to go the opposite way. Sorry. So we'll do that again. So just at the bottom of the slit and up to that corner, because I want my main colour to be Calypso Coral. And I'll just bring that up, fold it like that. Do the same this side. So just where that cut finishes there, and I'm just lining it up with this corner up here, like so. Just bring it up. Okay. Okay, happier with that now. So then I'll just grab a bone folder, and then we can make our crease. It's just by doing it this way, because we're using designer series paper and not the really thick cardstock, you're not going to tear your designer series paper. Okay, this is how I do it. You may have a better way of doing it, so it's just up to you which way you want to do it. So then what we need to do is bring back in our card, and we're going to be putting that on the card like so, but we need to stamp the ship on here, so we have to see where we want the ship to sit. So what I do is just approximately see where my designer series paper is going to be fitting, and then I grab my pencil and I just, where that center is there, I just make a line up there and a line up there. So it gives me, I think you can see that, it gives me that guide to where I want to stamp my ship. And I just realized that I did it on the wrong side, so needs to be going. That's it. So I need to have it going this way. So just quickly grab my pencil again. It's just an approximation, just so it gives me an idea where I want to stamp it. So now I'm just going to ink up with Early Espresso my... Now I like to bring, with these stamps, I like to bring my ink pad to the stamp rather than stamping it onto the ink pad, because there's a lot of definition in this stamp. The artist has done all the hard work for us, so I want to make sure that I'm getting enough ink on and I'm getting into all those grooves. And by doing that, I am going to make a bit of a mess inking it up. So what I do is I just get a cotton bud and I just go round, just removing that. Now that would have gone onto my card, so it's well worth just spending that extra little minute to where you can see that it's transferred right onto the edge of your stamp. Just removing that before you actually stamp your card, because I just really wanted a lot of ink on there. I don't want to be missing any of it, so that's a bit of a tip for you. So I'm happy how that is. Now my little mark is here, so I'm just going to line my cardstock up on any line on my grid paper. Love my grid paper, as everyone knows. And then I'm just going to just need to stand when I'm pressing that down, because I just want to get a really good crisp image onto that card, like that. And I find sitting down it's just impossible. So then when you bring this back, you're going to be covering a bit of your ship, but that's okay, because also what you need to do is just get a piece of scrap. What I did was get a piece of scrap Calypso Coral cardstock, and I just stamped my ship and then I fussy cutted it out. Now I didn't worry about cutting up around the lines and all that. I just did the main part of the ship, and then that's just going to sit on top of that one like that. So you're still going to see all these lines at the front even once we've put that on there. So that's why I didn't worry too much about, because you can see, you're going to see the lines there anyway. Okay, so I want to just put a couple of dimensionals on the back of this little fussy cut. So I just want it on the front part. So what we'll do is, with our designer series paper too, with these flaps, we just need to add a little bit of snell underneath them to hold them in place. And I've missed it there, so we're just using our adhesive eraser, just get that little bit of adhesive off of the designer series paper. Just need a little bit, just so it's not going to lift off. Then when we put it on here, we don't want glue underneath this area, because we're going to slide the, I don't know if I will slide this one under, but we normally, with the train, I slid it underneath there. So just see what I want to do here. You can slide. No, we will slide it underneath. Yep. So we don't want to put any glue along there or along there. So just for easiness, we will just use a little bit of snail along there and along here. So then you're just going to line it up. I'm just going to eyeball it as to where I want it. So it just adds a bit of interest to your card rather than just the normal stamped image on your card. And it is quite an easy card to make once you know how it's done. So this one is going to get slid underneath there, but because I've put a couple of dimensionals on the front, it's just going to bring it up a little bit. And I might even put another dimensional there. It's just seeing where it's going to sit, and then it just makes it pop a little bit for you. And before we do that, I'm just going to grab my Wink of Stella clear. Because I didn't cut the smoke out on this one, there's just a little bit of smoke showing there, and I'm just going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella on the smoke. Just to add a little bit of more dimension on it. Then we'll just, I always like to grab my tweezers for this. I just push in the center of the dimensionals, and then I just pull those off. And now we're going to stick the ship. We're just sliding it. See how I'm sliding it under there, because we didn't put any glue under this part. So I'm just sliding it under there and just lining it up with the stamped image underneath. And because we've got dimensionals, it just sits up that little bit. So I think it looks really nice with the ship. Then what we're going to do, I'm just going to, I love my bling, just the little top, I don't know what you call these, smokestack, where the artist has put quite dark markings on there, and on the ship, just where it's got the dark markings, I'm just adding a little bit of Wink of Stella, because just to add a little bit of interest to the card. These stamps are just, in this set, the Traveller, are wonderful because the artist has done all the work for us. It's just such a defined stamp, and it's just so easy to work with. Okay, so that won't take long to dry. So while that's drying, then what I did off camera is I just took a scrap piece of Calypso Coral and a scrap piece of Whisper White. From the Guy Greetings set, I stamped Happy Birthday, and I've already just put some dimensionals on the back, which we'll remove. Just saves a little bit of time. Then we're just going to pop that on there in the center as much as we can, just by eyeballing it. I think it's just wasn't quite straight enough for my liking. Just turn it over. That helps it adhere a little bit. And I don't know why I do it, but I just like to bend this one. And then that's going to go like where this center is there. We're just going to pop it about there, I think. So it looks quite nice. So I just do that with the snail, because we've already used dimensionals on the Happy Birthday, so there's no need to use more dimensionals unless you want to, of course. So I'm just going to line it up to the side so it's just coming across to that center about there where we did the folds. So just quite, so yeah, happy with that. So press down or turn over, as a lot of people that watch my tutorials know I do this, so I'm not getting transferring ink to my cards. Now you could leave that like that. I think that looks quite effective as a birthday card, but I did take another piece of scrap Calypso Coral, and from the same stamp set I've stamped the camera because they're like on a voyage. So no, you could even, as a bit of interest, have that like that. Whether to add, I don't think I'd add dimensionals because we've added dimensionals to the happy birthday and it really takes it away from that. So just for interest's sake, I'm just going to put that on an angle. And it's gone off a little bit off the designer series paper, but I don't really think that matters. So we've got that, which I think it just adds a bit of difference to the card. Now, it's just thinking that I would have liked to have had another piece of stamped another one for down the bottom here. So I've just got this piece of scrap and I'm just going to grab my camera image, and once again I take my ink pad to the stamped there's so much. The artist has just put so much definition in these stamps. I just love them. I love working with them. So that's going to really come up nicely. So I'm going to just, which is the straightest edge, I think. I'm still in camera shot for you. So I'm going to go right to the edge and I'm going to press down quite firmly and straight up, and you can see how it's given it a lot of definition. And I'm just going to bring in my trimmer and trim that as close to the camera as I can. And just grab my scissors so it's not such a big piece I'm trying to trim off. So you can see how you can use your scraps as well for all, you know, these little images. I just have to try and trim off a really little bit off the top, which is going to be a bit dicey. So I'll take my, and doing it when sitting down is a bit of a challenge too, I can tell you. Then I'm just going to do it the opposite way. So that'll sit nicely there. So we'll just add a little bit of snail. I just think it would have looked a bit empty space for me anyway if I hadn't had something else down there. So then once again I just take my Wink of Stella and just on these dark areas I would just add a little bit of Wink of Stella just to highlight it. And these Wink of Stella pens are fantastic, they just last forever, and I like it so much better than the old bottles where you just wasted so much, whereas these Wink of Stellas, they just last forever and it just brings just enough out that you need. Now while I'm just finishing this off, I'm nearly finished, I'll just add some to the top, turn it round so you can see the card. Now if you don't have a Stampin' Up demonstrator looking after you and you live in Australia, please let me know, because I'd be more than happy to help you out with any of the supplies that I've used today. Or if you've ever thought of even joining Stampin' Up, I would absolutely love to have you on my team. I've got a lovely group of girls on my team and we have lots of fun and we share ideals and support each other. But if you just want to be a hobbyist, like a customer, and just want to put in an order, I will put the links at the bottom. But if you want to contact me, just go to my blog, with the link will be at the bottom of this card, and you can see the tabs across the top of my blog and you can contact me. My email is there. So if I can help you in any way, I would absolutely love to be able to help you. I started this channel in February 2016 to reach out to ladies that were interested with learning a few different ideals. So sorry that that's gone a bit crooked. So that's our finished card, and I actually like it better than the train. So I did the train one, and it's just this, it's the same technique that we've used, but it's just this time I've used the ship, and preferably myself, I prefer the ship. So that was the original one, and then I just carried that through with Whisper White with the train stamped image in there. And then we have this one with the ship, and we've got the ship inside. So thank you so much for spending some of your day with me today, and I really look forward to sharing more techniques and more of my cards and projects with you in the coming months. Have a crafty day.